Country Equipment is your locally owned full-service dealer of Kubota, Polaris, Skag, and Hustler equipment. Whether it's for 2 or 200 acres, Country Equipment has the Kubota tractor and attachments to help you get the job done. Country Equipment carries a full line of trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, and more from top brands like Echo and Steel. Mowers from brands like Kubota, Hustler, and Skag are sure to keep your place looking great all year round. Plus a full parts and service department for all the brands we carry. Come see us today at your locally owned Country Equipment.
Jeff here with Triton Foundation Repair. I'm here to remind you that we always have and always will offer free foundation evaluations to Oklahomans. At Triton, we know your home is a big investment and your money is hard earned. So when you call us for a free evaluation, our specialists will perform a thorough foundation evaluation and only give an estimate when foundation repair is necessary. So visit TritonOK.com to schedule your free foundation evaluation.
Williams Foods, more than just a grocery store. Williams Foods has been serving communities since 1971. That is 45 years strong and counting. We are successful because we offer great service, great prices, fresh produce, and the best meat money can buy. Williams Foods is not just in your communities, we are a part of your community. We donate 1% back to any nonprofit organization, and we donate up to 6 cents per labels to anyone fundraising. Williams Foods, where we still sack and carry out your groceries for you because you deserve it.
At Ortho Central, we're committed to making your life better. Whether it's getting you back to the sport you love, chasing after grandkids, or easing chronic pain. With locations in Norman, Midwest City, and Newcastle. Ortho Central, we're part of your team.
High-speed fiber internet is now available from Tuttle Broadband. Get faster speeds, up to 1 gigabyte in the most modern service available. Stream your favorite shows and get connected with no service contract and competitive pricing. Tuttle Broadband. Schedule your installation today. High-speed fiber internet for a more connected Tuttle.
At Marshall Auto Supply, our Napa certified parts professionals are here to help. We stock a wide variety of parts and accessories for all makes and models. Marshall Auto Supply. Stop by or call us today. Located in Chickasha or on Main Street in Tuttle.
Hey guys, we're here at Smokin' Joe's. This has got the best meat in the 405. If you haven't ate here yet, you got to.
Come experience the warmth and hospitality of our neighborhood barbecue joint for yourself. From our mouth-watering meats to our homemade sides, every dish is crafted to perfection. We can't wait to serve you at Smokin' Joe's Rib Ranch.
Come join us at Smokin' Joe's.
Navigating through Medicare.
Over the years, a lot has changed. Thankfully, in Tuttle, a few things have stayed the same. The people here are still the best, the school's teams are always competitive, and Williams Plumbing Service is still serving the community. For all your plumbing needs, call Williams Plumbing Service. One family serving Tuttle since 1949. Thank you, Tuttle, and go Tigers!
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm about to show you a generator power shot.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Oh, you're gonna feel it. Off the generator, off your head, nothing but net.
Off my head.
Work it! Generator power shot.
You missed a big shot, or that was slam dunk service.
Brian, you're hitting the head. That was not a slam dunk.
What do you think, Eddie? Aero Electric, service to the point.
Navigating through Medicare.
High-speed fiber internet is now available from Tuttle Broadband. Get faster speeds, up to 1 gigabyte in the most modern service available. Stream your favorite shows and get connected with no service contract and competitive pricing. Tuttle Broadband. Schedule your installation today. High-speed fiber internet for a more connected Tuttle.
Williams Foods, more than just a grocery store. Williams Foods has been serving communities since 1971. That is 45 years strong and counting. We are successful because we offer great service, great prices, fresh produce, and the best meat money can buy. Williams Foods is not just in your communities, we are a part of your community. We donate 1% back to any nonprofit organization, and we donate up to 6 cents per labels to anyone fundraising. Williams Foods, where we still sack and carry out your groceries for you because you deserve it.
Al's Heat and Air is a proud supporter of the Tuttle Tigers. Serving the Tuttle area for almost 40 years, we work on all makes and models. As a trained comfort specialist, we sell the best and service the rest. Al's Heat and Air, 405-381-3602.
If you want to be a state champ like a Tuttle Tiger, come down to Smokin' Joe's and get your fresh protein.
That ain't no baloney.
We can't wait to serve you at Smokin' Joe's Rib Ranch, Tuttle.
Over the years, a lot has changed. Thankfully, in Tuttle, a few things have stayed the same. The people here are still the best, the school's teams are always competitive, and Williams Plumbing Service is still serving the community. For all your plumbing needs, call Williams Plumbing Service. One family serving Tuttle since 1949. Thank you, Tuttle, and go Tigers.
Country Equipment is your locally owned full-service dealer of Kubota, Polaris, Skag, and Hustler equipment. Whether it's for 2 or 200 acres, Country Equipment has the Kubota tractor and attachments to help you get the job done. Country Equipment carries a full line of trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, and more from top brands like Echo and Steel. Mowers from brands like Kubota, Hustler, and Skag are sure to keep your place looking great all year round. Plus a full parts and service department for all the brands we carry. Come see us today at your locally owned Country Equipment.
At Ortho Central, we're committed to making your life better. Whether it's getting you back to the sport you love, chasing after grandkids, or easing chronic pain. With locations in Norman, Midwest City, and Newcastle. Ortho Central, we're part of your team.
Jeff here with Triton Foundation Repair. I'm here to remind you that we always have and always will offer free foundation evaluations to Oklahomans. At Triton, we know your home is a big investment and your money is hard earned. So when you call us for a free evaluation, our specialists will perform a thorough foundation evaluation and only give an estimate when foundation repair is necessary. So visit TritonOK.com to schedule your free foundation evaluation.
be joined tonight by Coach Serber once he gets up here. The Lady Tigers will be taking on the El Reno Lady Indians tonight in our first duel.
Tonight's duel will start at 110 pounds. For El Reno, Natalie Miller. For your Tigers, Katrina Gustafson. At 115 pounds, Brooklyn Huggins for El Reno. And for your Tigers, Randy Lomax. At 120 pounds for El Reno, Claire Solinsky. And for your Tigers, Grace Madison. At 125 pounds, either Liz McElroy or Olivia Smith will receive a forfeit. At 130 pounds, for your Tigers, either Millie Bradley or Jamie Wassinger will receive a forfeit. At 135 pounds, for your Tigers, Hannah Rusher will receive a forfeit. At 155 pounds, for El Reno, Kaylee Davis. And for your Tigers, Marlo Folsom. At 170 pounds, for El Reno, Hannah Cohen. And for your Tigers, Delia Harrison. At 190, for your Tigers, Kirsten Walker will receive a forfeit. And heavyweight, for your Tigers, Michaela Reed will receive a forfeit. Captains to the center of the match, please. The Tigers won the toss and had chosen the odd matches. We got 3 exhibitions before the duel starts. First up, for El Reno, Katie Colt, and for your Tigers, Kat Regross.
So this is the first home duel for the Tuttle Tigers this season. They're going to run a couple exhibition matches first just to get these young ladies a little more practice. exhibition matches will just be 1 minute a period, I believe. Right now we got the scores 2-2. Fighting the half here. Young lady from El Reno. It's a tight grip on her. Well, it's still 2-2 after 2 periods. Young lady from El Reno chooses top. That's a 2 takedown for Tuttle. So Coach Servers finally made it up here after all the handshakes and talking down in the stands with all of our Filler wrestling fans. Coach Server, how's our team looking this year?
Well, I think pretty good. You know, we return a good, solid nucleus of seniors, and got a good mix of young kids in the lineup. I was in the wrestling room earlier today, and of course, you know, with the advent of girls wrestling, we've got a lot of young girl wrestlers in there, and I'd say young. There's no seniors, but also I'm talking about experience-wise too. It's, you know, fast-growing sport, but a lot of them are still really inexperienced, and so it's always good. We got 3 exhibition matches here, and I'm not sure what our lineup looks like. I think there's 3 junior high wrestling matches for the varsity girls, and not sure about high school, but
okay.
You know, so yeah, and I think, you know, we're in our class ranked number 1. Got some tough tournament coming up tomorrow in Enid, Mid-American Nationals, and kind of see where you're at, especially a lot of individuals. So exciting time of the year.
Yeah, that's always one of the first big tournaments right out of the gate. You can kind of judge your team based off that tournament. A lot of teams from Kansas, Texas, even Colorado come to Mid-American Nationals every year.
Yeah, and this year there's a team coming from the state of Washington. So Corey Clayton, longtime coach at Tulsa Union back a while back, and when he got out of coaching, he moved to Enid, and then he took over, helped run basically that tournament. So it's kind of a year-long endeavor for him to recruit talent. So
Tuttle fans, if you don't have anything going on this weekend, them boys would sure love to see you up in Enid for the Mid-American Nationals, cheering on our Tuttle Tigers.
Looks like right here after 1 period, it's 0-0.
Yeah, it looked like El Reno had quite a few holes in their girls' lineup. It's a good thing they brought some extras at the same weight to get some exhibition matches in. That is always very helpful, especially with as young and new as girls wrestling is in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, this young lady for us, Kirsten, I can't remember her last name right offhand. She's a freshman, and I think this may be her 2nd year. So, you know, we've got a few girls came out last year in junior high getting started. I know I was in the youth practice back before Thanksgiving, and there's quite a few at that age going to be filtering up through. So it's here and it's going to be here to stay. It's going to kind of take a little while, still building the numbers and all those things, but it's a great opportunity for girls. They can glean the same values and principles and lessons that the boys have learned all these years through the great sport.
No, I definitely agree.
Oh, good snap down, go behind. So start off period on bottom, got to escape with the tripod stand up, and we had more action here in the last 30 seconds. We did the whole first period. So, and potential near fall count. Yeah, 2 count. Right at the buzzer. Go up 5-0.
Good period right there. It's my understanding that girls wrestling now has 2 classes, large and small, or 5A, 4A, or however they call it now. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's just essentially 6A and 5A. So the top, I think, I can't remember exactly, right around 60 or 64 teams are in the large class, and then everybody else is in the small class. And
did they break that out by schools that actually have wrestling, or they just say this is the schools, and if they do, they do? If
no,
they don't, they don't?
It's by schools that wrestle. So
got a fall there.
That's exciting right there. Kind of first period was a little bit of testing, filling them out, and then Kirsten kind of got her aggression going.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. She felt out the first period, then made her move in the second period and finished her off in the third period. So
this will be our third
and
exhibition
final,
match.
Right?
This young lady for Tuttle also, she's a freshman, Michaela, and I apologize, I did not know their last names. When we've got 660 kids at the high school now, and sometimes you don't know them. And nope, she's in a compromised position here off the takedown. Great job fighting off her back. El Reno girl with a good takedown.
It's almost like she just tried to hang on a little too long to go to her back. She should have gave it up and just bellied out.
Yeah. Fortunate there to only give up the 2 near fall as well instead of a full 5 count.
A little bit of inexperience she'll learn throughout the rest of the season. Just like right now, kind of rolling to her back instead of elbowing down and turning away from it. You learn valuable information whether you lose or you win in a wrestling match. You always take something away from it and go work on something that next week coming up. Does Mid-American Nationals also have a girls division at that as well this year? Or?
I do not think so. Our girls are going to a tournament in Cache tomorrow, so I assume not. I don't know that for sure, but I know that our girls are going to Cache tomorrow. There's a girls wrestling tournament down there, and I think we're taking 10 or 12 girls down there, and then our boys are going to Mid-America. So just a little follow-up on what you mentioned earlier about going to Mid-America. I know that myself and 2 other Tuttle fans that were driving separate vehicles all got speeding tickets going through Wacomas, I believe it was. So.
Yeah, so if you're going up there tomorrow
here's
or
a headlock
Saturday.
right here.
Whoa, that's a nice headlock. Nope. Did she get an arm out of there?
She must not had an arm. This young lady, I think she's wrestled maybe, this might be her second, maybe third year. She's a freshman as well. Her name's Katrina.
She seemed pretty scrappy coming out of the gate.
And I think this is a 105-pound weight class. But, actually, it was me and you. Remember last year going to Dual State in Enid? And I don't think I drove up there the year before maybe. I don't know. I'd always been on a bus and never drove. But anyway, me and you were talking rocking and rolling and got pulled over 62 or something, or 65 and a 45, and you couldn't even tell it was a speed zone.
No, it was. They showed it, and then boom, you're there, and and I remember talking to you, and basically, if you pled no contest and paid a little fine, they wouldn't put it on your record. Just kind of a.
Oh yeah, it was a money grab for sure.
Yep.
And then when I went online to pay, then it said there was like another $90 deferment fee, and and it was not a cheap ticket. So then I get to Enid, and Coach Warren, our football coach, he was there to watch Jace. I was telling him the story, and he goes, "Oh, I got pulled over just a while ago too." And then I can't remember if it was Cole Parker's dad
it was
or
somebody, yeah.
One other parent, Brian Bagby, somebody, I don't know, somebody else. Shortly thereafter, I heard he got pulled over, and so I don't know. We ought to maybe do a public address more so than this for anybody that's going up there tomorrow, and then when Dual State rolls around.
Yeah, it's almost like them little towns like that. They probably look for big events knowing that there's going to be a ton of people traveling up Highway 81, between Tuttle, El Reno. You might even have Marlowe or Duncan going to that tournament. A couple other schools along the way, but that's probably a very highly traveled path tomorrow and on Saturday. So.
And then next week, I think Tuesday night, we have Edmond Memorial here.
How are they this year?
They shouldn't pose much of a challenge. I don't know that they're super solid. They had a coaching change here a few years ago when Will Delk went to Mustang, and then they since then had another coaching change. So sometimes when that happens, consecutive 2 or 3, or once or twice within a 2 or 3 year span, you lose some consistency and continuity in your program, and I kind of think that's where they're at. They're a 6A school, and Edmond's got some decent wrestling, so hopefully I haven't looked at their lineup really, but I just know from last year that they had fell on a little bit of hard times.
Yeah, and when you're talking about Edmond, if you're a really, really good wrestler, you're probably going to figure out a way to go wrestle at Edmond North as opposed to the other ones. And I'm sure football is a little different depending on who's better at football, but we don't have that here in Tuttle. We just got one high school. So
Edmond North's ranked 3rd in the country, believe it or not.
Man,
that's the highest ranking I can remember with an Oklahoma team in a long time.
Especially for a public high school, they're not private.
Exactly. We finished 9th in the country here several years back, and Buchanan was the only other public high school in the top 10. And at that time we were less than 600 kids enrollment.
Right.
And Buchanan's a large high school in California, has 3,000.
Right.
So, but all the others are private, and you take like Wyoming Seminary and Blair Academy, they all recruit nationally. And that's what they do. They're a private boarding school, and most of them are set up like an academy for wrestling, and that's what they do.
Basically you leave there, then you go to a big-time D1 program, and you're already used to the dorms, you're already used to the way it works, and you fit right in. You see a lot of those kids today, especially in the NCAAs that are from Blair Academy, Wyoming Seminary, and Baylor, another private school in Tennessee. There's quite a few of them out there. Lake Highlands Prep in Florida. It's gotten really big these days.
Boy, that must have been at least about a 5-minute blood time. Yeah.
I wonder if the time might have ran out on her.
Yeah. Young lady probably got busted in the nose, and it wasn't simply wipe your lip and come back and wrestle.
Right.
Let's see if Katrina can get a leg attack now. She went with the head and arm last time, the headlock.
Only 30 seconds gone here in this first period. She's kind of going for another headlock. At least she learned on the arm deal. So she kind of locked it up, but he didn't see it.
We can see it from here, but the referee couldn't see it. Now she wants to keep her knee down so the young lady don't.
She still doesn't have 2 here yet, because you got to at least expose the back before you'll give you 2 when you throw a headlock.
She must have reached and grabbed the wrist.
That should be 2 there. Yep, there we go. There's the 2. I can't tell from our point of view, but he's looking right at it. So she either has the arm or she has the wrist. So.
She just needs to get her elbow up off the mat.
Yeah.
Lift her elbow up.
And slide her.
Get
slide
the young
her left
lady
hand down.
And drive back into her a little bit here.
Hey, we got a fall. First match of the night. What is her first name?
Katrina. I don't have the.
Yeah, but they did not give us a program for the young ladies tonight, so we're sorry if we don't know one of them's name. But
I might be able to look here. Let me see if I can do a little bit.
Do they do the duels now on track wrestling?
I think they may be going to. So
that's pretty cool. Where you can at least now go research who wins something in the duel. I know you never have done that too much before.
All right, this is Rayleigh Mullinex, so we're going to have to just do a good job of listening to our announcer, Aaron.
Yep, Aaron's done a good job in this gym for many years. So.
Rayleigh, she grew up wrestling some in our youth league the last couple of years.
So is she a freshman as well?
She's a sophomore. Yes, she's a sophomore. Don't give me the line. These years start running together. I cannot believe that. But yeah, she is a sophomore. I remember being in high school last year. So we're going to have to get us a little chat box going or something where people can throw in questions or, more importantly, throw in corrections.
Right. We could definitely use that.
Out of bounds here, no
points, no point.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually somebody got.
Well, I don't think they've updated that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That kind of threw me off, glanced over the score.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think anybody scored. I think it's still 0-0, unless I just missed a quick takedown and a quick escape while we were writing their name down.
You know, I could probably have fun if we had a little chat box of some sort.
Definitely.
I remember a few years ago when Wagner was I had to, there's an arm drag.
Yeah, that should be
Circle
two.
out.
Right to her back. Little chin
Yeah,
up
she
there
just
for the
didn't
back.
react quick enough there.
It looks like we did actually miss one because they left it, so it's 6-1.
Okay, yeah,
So.
all right, yeah, so we must have missed, when I was flipping that paper over trying to find the lineup maybe.
Young lady from El Reno has some pretty good skills.
I was going to say, you can tell she's wrestled for several
little while.
years.
And probably grew up wrestling boys with the girls just coming around the last 3 years.
That's a commonality amongst some of these that have wrestled and appear to have had 5, 6, 7 years or 4 years of experience.
She went to that half, and then she went straight to a power half. So that tells you, the normal wrestler wouldn't know that and go right to that if they're pretty
As
new
the
at
first
sport.
period winds down with the 6-1 lead is a young lady from El Reno.
Do they have rankings out for girls wrestling right now?
Let me go look on that. That might help us out here. I'm sure they do.
So I know it's kind of new in the year, and this, the women are. Last year was actually all for one, right? There was no classifications.
You're exactly right.
Okay.
So there's been some great strides in the female side of it just in the last 2 years. There's going to be an all-state match this year that's recognized by the Oklahoma Coaches Association, the OCA, which is the umbrella that has Oklahoma Wrestling Coach Association, Oklahoma Football Coach Association, so forth. So it's going to be recognized by that, and they'll be ran alongside all those sports during All-State Week, which is the last week of July. She's doing a good job fighting off her back here, but Rayleigh gave up a chicken wing. And
that looks pretty tight, too.
Yeah.
She puts that hip down into that back shoulder.
Yeah.
She's
So one thing that, girls are more flexible than the guys, and so oftentimes it's in positions like this, if they get an arm a little bit loose, they're able to still keep themselves up from being pinned.
Right. Oh, there it went. Well, that's going to tie the score up here, 6-6.
So Rayleigh gives up the fall there to make it 6-6. Let's see if we can listen and catch who's introduced next here.
Maybe you can catch the El Reno girls down, too. Something Skolinski. Did you hear Chris Solinski?
I thought Claire, maybe. Claire Solinski.
Well, she got a quick takedown on Grace.
Grace has been in our program a few years as well.
Is she a sophomore?
She's
or
a junior.
Okay.
She's a junior. Grace goes down. The girl thought about letting her stand up neutral. She looked over at her coach. So, it's going to be a quick indication. She probably has been wrestling with the other girl that wrestled weight before. Yeah. So many times in wrestling, you'll see two good wrestlers back-to-back weight classes.
Well, and that was a 115-pounder, too, wasn't it? Was that the girls' weight, 115?
Before?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is 120. The 5 pounds is not very much at all when it comes to wrestling. So. Yeah, and a chicken wing with a tight waist. Same move. Yeah. I guarantee you their practice partners, both of them, very good, though. We'll look forward to seeing them wrestle later on, I'm sure. So that takes the score to 12-6. This would probably, the way it's shaping up, be a really good duel if El Reno didn't have 4 or 5 holes in their lineup where they're going to have to take forfeits, which is it's really, really tough to win when you have a lot of forfeits in your lineup. Any forfeits, honestly.
Six points each time.
Yeah, you got young boys or girls that are scrappers. They don't, not everybody gives up too many falls. So.
Olivia Smith gets forfeit.
Yeah, that's one of a few to come. That does bring the score to 12-12. So.
Millie Bradley with the forfeit at 130.
Well, we definitely have an El Reno girl warming up, so I can't tell the exact size from here, but I would say it's probably another forfeit, and then she's going to be ready to wrestle.
Hannah Rusher at 135 picks up a forfeit. All right, we'll have a match here.
What is this, 145?
Let's see.
And next up at 155 pounds for El Reno, Katie Davis. And for your Tigers, Marlo Folsom.
Marlo is a first year, just came out this year after volleyball season. So you've got to really commend that effort, you know, coming out after volleyball as a freshman, not knowing anything about it, and making her debut tonight in a varsity match.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Got a lot of athletes at Tuttle that play multiple sports. It's good to see the young women doing the same thing.
Yep. Somebody might be bleeding. Referee indicates
red, little blood time.
Red blood time.
You know, that's one thing with girls wrestling. You know, a lot of girls like to grow their fingernails out and paint them and stuff. I guess it's the same rules as boys, right? You got to keep them things cut tight to the edge of the finger where you can't scratch somebody.
So I was on the National Rules Committee through the National Federation from 2016 till 2020, and one of the changes that was made was the hair rule. I can get into that a little bit here in a little while.
So we're still 0-0, 30 seconds gone here in the first period.
Marno needs to circle a little bit, and young lady from El Reno got her head down, kick her leg back, sprawl. Needs to stay square here. Don't get lifted. Needs to stay square means, you know,
yeah, doing a good job hanging on with that ankle too, where she can't base up.
Yeah, I'd like to see her get her left arm over on this side around the belly.
Good job of not going to her back and fighting to her belly. So
Kate Davis from El Reno with the takedown. Under a minute left.
Oh, got a nice solid half in there with a bar. That's pretty tight. On the edge of the mat for a fall. Well, that's going to take us to 24-18, Tuttle. And some of these El Reno girls, you can definitely tell they've been wrestling a while, and they actually look really, really, really good tonight.
Yeah. They don't have many of them, but the ones they do, you can tell wrestle a little bit. Let's see what weight class we're at here. And
probably a good tournament team, I would think. At least for young ladies getting on the podium, maybe not team points with all the holds. But a little blood we need to get cleaned up off the mat.
But yeah, the hair rule was something. It was several years in the making, and you know some of these rules just get and guidelines get passed up from one year to the next, and
they keep them on the ballot and might bring it back up year after year, kind of.
Yeah, make revisions or before they fully institute them.
Anna something. Was it Megan Harrison?
Delia.
Delia met. And Anna, I believe, was a young lady from El Reno.
Delia Harrison and who?
Anna, I did not catch her last name. So.
Delia's a freshman as well. I know she wrestled last year. El Reno seems to be working that snap down.
Man,
also
they do. That's tight too. So that's going to tie the score up here.
Anna Hope, maybe.
Yeah, and I know Tuttle has a lot of young girls now in our youth program. I know quite a few of them out there that are doing some special things in the youth circuit, traveling around the country and wrestling for, Team Oklahoma, things like that, things we used to do when our sons were younger, trying to get them, to improve and going out of state and wrestling more. So I know it's definitely getting bigger here in Tuttle as well as in the state of Oklahoma.
Let's see what weight. Looks like maybe
probably 185 or something like that.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I don't see El Reno. I can't tell if El Reno's got any more.
What weight was that? 190. Okay.
Yeah. Kirsten Walker, who wrestled an exhibition earlier.
Yeah, at least she got her a match today. So that the other girl must have been a double up at 170. Well, that does it for the duel. 36-24, your final score. But you look at it from the other side, you leave here with El Reno. Yeah, you lost the duel, but I think you went 4-1 in the matches that were wrestled. So good job by El Reno. Lady Indians tonight.
Navigating through Medicare.
High-speed fiber internet is now available from Tuttle Broadband. Get faster speeds, up to 1 gigabyte in the most modern service available. Stream your favorite shows and get connected with no service contract and competitive pricing. Tuttle Broadband. Schedule your installation today. High-speed fiber internet for a more connected Tuttle.
Hey Tiger fans, if you're looking for a church home, we have a place for you at First Baptist Church. From children's and youth activities to senior adults, we have a ministry for everyone in your family and would love to have you join us. If we can pray for you, email us at prayforyou@att.net. We love you and hope you have a blessed week.
Hello everyone, I'm Brian with Arrow Electric. One of the things that we specialize in is whole home backup generators. Oklahoma is notorious for having all types of bad weather that can leave your home without power for days, sometimes even weeks. With a whole home generator from Arrow Electric, you can have peace of mind that your home will have power during an outage.
But don't forget to mention that all veterans, active military, first responders, and teachers get $250 off whole home generator installed. And financing is also available. Call us at Arrow Electric for service to the point.
Are you looking for a reliable lawn and landscape contractor? Call Red Tail Lawn Service. We offer residential and commercial lawn care. Red Tail Lawn Service. Call today, 405-613-9718.
Williams Foods, more than a grocery store. At Williams Foods, we pride ourselves on our meat, and we have the best, the freshest, the most tender meat money can buy. There is no better meat in the world. Williams Foods cuts it fresh every day, just the way you like it. Don't be fooled by big box stores that don't cut their meat on site. We do meat right and better than anyone. Williams Foods, where we still sack and carry out your groceries for you because you deserve it. Williams Foods, your fresh meat, fresh produce, and much more store since 1971.
At Tuttle Christian Church, we love God and love our community. Whether your children are attending in our Safe, Secure Kids building or you're attending one of our worship services, we hope you will experience a moment with Jesus. We hope to see you there. Tuttle Christian Church. Country Equipment is your locally owned full-service dealer of Kubota, Polaris, Skag, and Hustler equipment. Whether it's for 2 or 200 acres, Country Equipment has the Kubota tractor and attachments to help you get the job done. Country Equipment carries a full line of trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, and more from top brands like Echo and Steel. Mowers from brands like Kubota, Hustler, and Skag are sure to keep your place looking great all year round. Plus a full parts and service department for all the brands we carry. Come see us today at your locally owned Country Equipment.
Jeff here with Triton Foundation Repair. I'm here to remind you that we always have and always will offer free foundation evaluations to Oklahomans. At Triton, we know your home is a big investment and your money is hard earned. So when you call us for a free evaluation, our specialists will perform a thorough foundation evaluation and only give an estimate when foundation repair is necessary. So visit TritonOK.com to schedule your free foundation evaluation.
At Marshall Auto Supply, our Napa certified parts professionals are here to help. We stock a wide variety of parts and accessories for all makes and models. Marshall Auto Supply. Stop by or call us today. Located in Chickasha or on Main Street in Tuttle.
Hello, this
All right, we're back at the Tiger Den, ready for the boys wrestling match to start. And here is your 2023-24 returning 4A state champion Tuttle Tigers. A lot of familiar faces in the lineup again this year from last year. Kind of run through them here after Aaron makes his announcements.
I think it'll be about half and half. I know we graduated 7 starters last year out of 14 weights, so.
Time state champion. What are we going for in a row here, Coach Serber? Is this 15?
Let's see, we won our first one in 09, so 16. Going for 16, I believe it is, in a row.
And 113 pounds for El Reno, Terry Guzman. And for your Tigers, Cooper Jackson. And 120 pounds for El Reno, Cash Reyes. And for your Tigers, either Chance Fisher or Garrett Spurlock.
Looks like we waited on extra guys tonight.
Yeah, maybe they can get some of the non-starters a little action with, big time tournament tomorrow for the starters. So.
Well, I think biggest thing is you've got to certify your weight. And so some of them, if they can certify their weight these first duels, try to get them on the roster, get them certified, so they can go in the database. And then tomorrow they get a plus 1 pound allowance.
Well, and you never know when a starter goes down. You may need a kid at that weight. So when it's earlier in the season, it's probably a little easier to certify at a lower weight than it is, 2 or 3 months into the season. So. But you actually have to be certified at that weight before the new year. Is that the rule? Or?
Yes, by third Saturday in January is the rule.
Okay. Well, it's El Reno being the old school wrestling powerhouse that everybody kind of thinks of. It's kind of weird for them guys to have a few holes like this in their lineup tonight.
Yeah, they held the record for the most consecutive state titles from mid-'90s to early 2000s with 11. So when we won 12 of them, or 12 in a row, that's whose record we beat. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of consistency to stay on top of it. They had a coaching change, some things, different stuff, and
well, nowadays it almost seems like high school is a lot like college. These kids, they don't enter a portal, but parents will pack up and move if things ain't going right for them.
You're exactly
kind of weird,
right.
But
we can talk about that in a little bit too. Most recently, if people's following stuff saw where the OSSA approved the transfer rule yesterday. We can talk about that in a little bit. All right, let's see here. What are we?
We starting at 106. I don't know Maxwell.
Maxwell's a freshman. Him and his brother and sister moved in this summer from Yukon.
Okay.
All three of them wrestle. Brothers at heavyweight, and Sister Millie was on the girls' team. She got a forfeit. All solid wrestlers. This is a returning starter, 106. Or no, excuse me, he's a backup last year. Cooper Jackson, sophomore. Long time, been in our youth program since he's little. Weighed in at 111 pounds. Good re-attack. Wrestling Terry Guzman. Excellent finish.
Nice mat return there. Barely let go of that hand in time. It's also a rule nowadays you can't have that hand trapped and return them back down to the mat, correct?
That's correct. We went through a streak there, a bad streak where we had 4 slams in 4 consecutive weekends, and so it was not good. We had to go back and tweak some things, and it was not meant maliciously. We'd been wrestling some really tough competition out of state, and that was 6-7 years ago. But
nice little duck under.
You don't see a whole lot of slams. It's not allowed and it's frowned upon.
But even just a nice safe mat return, you still can't have one of their arms trapped and return them to that side, or in general, I guess, right?
The guy returning them to the mat is responsible for their safe return, and part of that means they have to have a post to that side, which is usually your arm, available.
Working that little Blair ride there with a little crossed half.
Yeah, referees have got where they won't let you run that very much anymore. So that's where you get the wrist out kind of by the ribs,
right.
and you put some pressure on the shoulder and the elbow.
Yeah, a couple of years. Once that thing started getting really popular, I don't know if somebody's shoulder got dislocated or something, but they kind of put a stop to putting a whole lot of pressure on that getting out.
Yeah.
Let you lay there and kind of run it crossbody, but once you get to that side and you start cranking it, that's a nice little chicken wing and a half.
Oh, right at the buzzer. Picked up some near fall.
Probably got two. Yep, two near fall.
Makes the score 6-1 at the end of the first period. Cooper looking good on his feet. Well in control of the match.
And he was our backup last year at 106, and he's a sophomore.
Yes, he was behind Chance Fisher,
who
finished state placer for us.
Yep, he finished third.
Third state tournament. He's up at 120 this year as a sophomore. His opponent from El Reno, Guzman's doing a good job keeping pressure forward. Like to see Cooper get his weight back just a little bit more.
Yeah, kind of timed the whistle a little bit better. He seemed like he kind of had his head down and didn't get much of an explosion off the whistle. Kind of the same thing there on that start, you know.
Yeah, just needs to keep that hand now, continue to come back, get his hips out. Top guy was not, he didn't really want to ride him there.
No, I think he was ready to go back on his feet.
After a takedown in 2 turns first period, you think he would have tried to be a little bit more tenacious on top.
Definitely.
Makes score 7-1 with escape.
Another nice duck under.
2-point takedown for Cooper. He's going to cut him, which means let him up, give him a free escape point so that we can work on our takedown, scoring some more offensive points. This is another way for you oftentimes to get more mat time hitting your moves, especially when you kind of outman your opponent a little bit, get a little bit more work, and then he'll probably try to look for penny combination there.
Nice half in here.
He's kind of pull his head to him, and then he can kind of run it over a little bit better.
Suck it up underneath.
Yeah, needs to get the far side, the right arm bar under. There you go.
He's not quite got his elbow where it needs. Well, I think at that point Guzman had kind of had enough, and
it appeared like he, kind of lost a little bit of his fight. Makes the dual score 12-0 as we go to 120 pounds.
Got a couple of kids that weighed in here. We'll see who Coach Williams sends out tonight.
I suspect we'll see most of the starters, with tomorrow being the first tournament. They are going to get to take 5 extras tomorrow. So usually Mid-American Nationals, there's a quick shot outside carry, fireman's carry by Chance. Puts his opponent up.
Yeah, he's wanting to get him some good
and then
work
he walks
in.
right back into a shot. You don't necessarily like to see that.
No, you
but
don't.
This is a really good technique that Tuttle's been traditionally really strong at. It's called sit in the corner, guys in on your leg, and you kind of swing around them. You use the momentum of their shot going forward. You
set to a hip and kind of
set to a hip and scoot around them. Yep. And then he let Chance up. Chance right back in on a shot off the arm drag. Got a cross wrist, which means having an arm across the body, the opposite wrist across the body.
Looks like he was kind of looking for that little roll through, try to get a couple of cheap near fall points if you can catch him off guard right there.
All of our guys are really good at doing that. There he was ready for the low single and then goes back to his outside fireman's. Kind of like a near arm far leg, some people call it.
Yeah. I always used to call it kind of like a short carry kind
of.
Yeah.
Looking for a little cheap tilt. What I mean by cheap tilt is you're getting back points. You're exposing their back for a count, a near fall count. You're not going to pin anybody with a cheap tilt, but it's a technique maneuver used to score points.
Oh, nice little cross-face cradle he hooked up right there. Broke his hands loose, but still got him a couple of near fall points, I would think. they're not going to award the points until he lets go of that far elbow, just so he's
Yeah.
not doing the same move over and over trying to get more points off of it. You gotta
Yeah, the
change moves,
referee's got to look for the bottom man to be to a defendable position, and the hold has been released.
So now you just give him his 2 points.
So he
Takes
got
the
his
score to 10-3.
So now he can go back to the same move if he wants. Once the bottom man is defendable and the hold has been released, it's just like anything. There's some subjectivity in some of that. If you still have a wrist or you don't, or different things depending on the move. We elect to go down here, start the second period.
Got a nice lead. He's probably going to look for a tech fall or a tech pin, make sure he gets some good work in today. And quick 2 reverse, then an escape.
Oh, good fake.
He does a good job at controlling elbows, I've noticed, and then good at the little pass by, duck unders, things like that.
Chance appears to me to be a little quicker than last year. Sometimes you'll see these freshmen, they're just hitting puberty possibly, or they're long and lanky, and they look a little slow-footed. He's still long and lanky, but he looks like he's kind of come into his own within his body with his quickness there, with that fake and some of his movements.
And his sister was one of our first Tuttle girl wrestlers, right? She's now wrestling at Oklahoma City University? Or?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. She was our first state placer and state finalist. Made it to the state finals last year. And kind of, for our community and our high school and middle school, kind of paved the way. There we go, locked up the cross-face cradle.
Yeah, that one's pretty tight.
Didn't have the arm cinched across good enough to get to where he could pin him. Now he's going to switch off to where he bundled the arms. Not super tight, but may be able to rotate it around as he's up by 12 points.
Another 3 near fall will do it here in the second period.
But yeah, Rayleigh's wrestling for Oklahoma City University. They had a match Monday night. I did not see the results. I do know that they wrestled. Somebody at school told me that on Monday, and I have not checked or heard the results.
So she's starting for them?
Yes.
All right.
As is Brody Potts for the men's side, and Hayden Brown. Braden Potts.
Yep. Yeah, so we got 3 Tuttle wrestlers there now. That should do it.
Technical fall, 19-4. That'll be 5 team points for the Tigers.
Takes us to 17-0.
Next weight will be 126 pounds. So, yeah, they split the girls into 2 divisions, large school, small school, 6A, 5A. In wrestling this year, another new change. Ryland Slover versus Nico Gonzalez. Slover's a freshman, one of our freshmen that's a tough wrestler into the lineup, so he'll be the second freshman for us tonight. So we start off freshman, sophomore, and freshman. Always bodes well when you have some young scrappers
guys,
in the lineup. Always like to keep never let the cupboard go bare.
Ryland's been wrestling for a long time. I can remember watching him when he could maybe 5 years old out there scrapping. So I know his parents greatly involved in our youth program, a lot of help, track wrestling, running tournaments, and all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah, a lot of help, and like you said, really good at helping at all the tournaments. And we put on 5 tournaments a year, 6 sometimes when we host regionals. And there we had a little dive roll, but yeah, a lot goes into it. We got great parent and community support.
Yeah, he stays in good position. He's nothing
he's
fancy.
Letting the kid kind of come to his feet a little bit too easy.
Yes.
What's that
leg?
leg?
Yeah.
He is what we call a little bit funky, which means somewhat unorthodox and oftentimes gets all tangled up. But he's also got great hips. He can neck wrench and step over. Sometimes what gets lost in that is what appears to be some of your basic fundamentals, but We've had a lot of kids that were a little bit outside the box and had some funkiness to them, some craftiness to them, and
trying to lock up a little.
I've learned you just got to kind of reel it in. You know?
You can't change them. You know what I mean? That's the way they wrestle. You just got to help them get better at the way they wrestle.
And a lot of that's nice little reversal.
Yeah. And he goes to the gator roll, trying to lock up a gator roll.
And
didn't have it tight enough, so you got to get them flattened out too. You know?
And sometimes those kids that are funky, they're more flexible as well. So that's where it comes from, and they learn that through youth. All right, that was a fun period. A lot of scrapping, 4-2.
Fast first period there.
But through youth and stuff, just wrestling live, they learn how to use different techniques that aren't really techniques. It's their body allows it, and then they're successful with it. So,
well, what was the guy's name? Delgado from Illinois that kind of started all that funk rolling and stuff like that, where somebody'd have a single leg on him and he'd dive straight down for their ankles, and next thing you know, he was coming out of the back door. And then kids just kind of mimic that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, and they've got rules against that now in college. So there's a big disparity between the high school rules and the college rules right now. College, you can go 2 near fall, 3 near fall, 4 near fall, and the takedown is the biggest change. It's worth 3 points now.
Yep.
And also in college, they have what's called the neutral danger rule. So if you go to your back in the neutral position, the referee starts counting. If he gets to a 3-second count, you give up a takedown. So Delgado used to dive, and he'd get on his back sometimes and grab a leg, and then get a stalemate, or he'd defend the position that way. Here we go. El Reno picked bottom. See, Ryland's having to do too many mat returns. Needs to get pressure forward and try to get a control. Secure one of the wrists. Keeps letting the guy build his hips up a little bit too easy. So coaches taking note. They will probably expect for him to put a little bit more work in next week in top position. Go ahead.
It's a big advantage when you can keep a kid down and ride a kid tough. That's part of the reason why in college they actually give you a point if you can ride somebody for over a minute, right?
It's a skill in itself. That's hard to do. I mean, the guys that are really dominant on top, you see them. I mean, guys don't get away from them.
Right.
It's just they have the knack for it. So now it's a 1-point match with escape from El Reno Gonzalez. This is shaking out to be a really competitive and good match. Slover with a quick almost go behind.
Yeah, I think he probably should have got 2 there. He kind of gave up a little quick on it.
That's what I thought. It's usually want to make guys pay when you defend a shot. Oh.
That's another one of those where you get a little overconfident and take a shot with your head facing down, and what happens, your head just hits the mat, and the other kid just spins right behind you.
So sure that was 2 there, but they give 2 and 1, correct?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. It's tied up 5-5.
Yeah. I think Ryland's got to get a little bit closer. He's shooting from too far. He needs to get a little bit closer, and needs to keep his head up on that shot.
Working the edge of the mat here a little bit.
Yeah, another thing that's different in college, if you back off the mat, it's either an action call, which means there's wrestling action, or it's a stall. So if you just back off and don't make an attempt to circle in, it's a stall. Where in high school, they're not that strict yet. So here we are, 5-5 with less than 20 seconds left. And you kind of feel like the momentum's kind of going El Reno's way right now. So this is Slover's got to recognize that. Just kind of be gritty, kind of stingy here.
And he'll have choice.
He will have choice. So he will go down third period. Almost certain. And oftentimes you'll see that because the chances of you getting your 1-point escape or 2-point reversal scoring point is a greater percent than the top guy turning you.
Unless you're just one of those beast guys that are on top,
Yep.
And most of the time the kids will know who that is, and they'll probably take neutral as opposed to.
So this guy's long and lanky, so you got to suspect a leg or cradle, and he's already got a leg in. So
he's looking for that old ball and chain up underneath.
The old ball and chain, yeah. That's where you get an arm, and then you try to catch the the wrist underneath the crotch. That's kind of the ball and chain
Hook that far
analogy.
elbow.
But Slover's got to be a little smarter here. Wrestling a long, lanky guy, he's got to kind of suspect he might be a leg rider. Oftentimes, long, lanky guys like to throw in a leg.
You need to watch that shoulder, though. He's starting to extend that thing past that 90-degree angle.
Oh, that was crafty. That's a little bit of that craft I was talking about.
Yep. A lot of kids, that would have went the other way for him.
With the flexibility, yes. He was
but he's already getting
I've
high.
had a lot of kids do that technique, and usually you get near fall out of it. He's got to be careful doing that against a more skilled, possibly wrestler, a little bit older wrestler. I would not recommend that, but he may be good at it though. That may be one of his tricks.
Yeah,
so now he's up 7-5, and he needs to stay in good position here. This is where you want to see him not get out of position.
Yep.
An escape doesn't hurt you. You just got to be smart on your feet and not give a takedown. You don't want to see a reversal, so you want to be careful riding legs and getting too high.
Yeah, just stay in good position, stay behind the elbows, grab the wrist, roll them to your belly, and keep it tight.
And so, I made a comment, the other guy's long and lanky and possibly a leg rider. Well, Slover's riding legs here, but it's a little bit different. He's trying to get both his in the middle and stay parallel, where the kid from El Reno got one leg in and was trying to ride perpendicular to him across his hips.
Right. More of a cross-body ride.
Cross-body ride, yes. So 7 seconds here. You'd have to think that the guy on bottom is going to try a roll of some sort, or maybe a switch, which means trying to cross your arm and reach back to get a quick reversal.
That'll do it.
And that will do it. Nice study.
Definitely our best match of the night. So. Sure, El Reno's going to Mid-American Nationals, I'm sure, this weekend as well.
Yes.
So never know, them two kids could beat up again. So.
And next we're at 132 pounds. For Tuttle's Bodie Wilson.
See, I do not know Bodie Wilson, so he's a senior?
He is, I think, a junior. He moved into Tuttle last year, and quickly got to takedown and has 2 near fall. You see the referee holding the 2. He will not award it until that pinning move is. He could do it again and get a full 5 count, so he'd get 3 points.
Yeah, once he releases it, that's why he signaled the 2.
And he threw a leg in. He's trying to do what's called a leg turk him over to his back by bowing him over.
That can get pretty painful at some point, too. It's arching the back pretty big time.
So in our class, the change that was made this year is the largest class, 6A, stays with 32 teams, but then 5A, 4A, and 3A, 5A and 4A went to 38 teams. So our class expanded from 32 to 38.
Okay.
And 5A expanded from 32 to 38. And then 3A stayed with just all
32.
From those down. No, it's more than that. So the big push came from the small school, the 3A schools, to do something because they had about 70 or 80 schools. Now, granted, Shakota and some of those would only have 4, 5, 6 wrestlers,
right.
but when you got to the regional tournament, they would have 25 or 28 kids out of weight, and that's where it was seemingly not
the normal
fair.
16.
So, yeah it's in all the classes at 16 East, 16 West.
So that's why teams like Chickasha moved up to 5A, was because they moved so many 3A teams into 4A.
They moved 6 up. So essentially that cut line. All right, at the end of the first period here, Bodie with a good ride out is up 4-0. Tuttle's choice. Bodie will go down, start the second period. Yeah, so they just moved the cut line. So it starts from the top, your largest school, and you go 32 and then next 32. Well, at the bottom of 5A, they extend it from 32 to 38. and that picked up Chickasha.
So that picked up basically the biggest 6 schools in 4A.
Yes.
Moved to 5A, and then
Yep.
kind of the same with 3A.
So we pick up.
So is Marlowe still?
Marlowe's still in a little small class. We pick up
Blackwell
Sulphur.
and
Blackwell stayed in a smaller class. The other, not a change, but Cassia Hall, they stayed in our class, but the private schools, that rule's still in effect. So Cassia Hall, even though they're a 3A school by ADM, their school membership, they move up to our class.
Same with Heritage Hall. And
yes, due to the success factor, they move up one class because they were in the top 8 at the state tournament 2 of the last 3 years. Bodie's in a really good scramble here. In college, you wouldn't really want to see this because you're giving up riding time where you'd really just want to go back to
the bounds and go back to the middle.
Or just go back to your base where the guy has to build up. You get all tangled up, and that's a little bit different than a takedown position. Here, it's no harm, no foul, but we didn't get our escape. So he's doing a better job this time, not getting tangled up, make it more clean, stay up on his feet. So what the top guy did there, it's called redrop. We were about out, and he redropped into a shot. So now we just need to continue to keep the cross face across him, put him in bad position. Step over the leg with your left leg. Once he steps over, he can hook it and bring it to him. That's 2 points.
I was going to say he's flat and he's hip to hip, so that's 2. Just because you step over the leg's not necessarily 2, but
no.
Once you get hip to hip and the other guy's flat, it's generally 2. Takes the score to 6-0 here in the second period with 15 seconds left. Hit a tough ride for these last 10 seconds. You don't want to give up any cheap points late in the
No, you
period.
need to be aware of. You don't need to go there. You need to be aware that there's not much time. You don't want to give up a. It won't be escape, but it could be a loss of control.
Yes, it could have been a loss of control, and I don't think anybody would have argued if that would have probably came out, right?
So another change, like in football for us next year, as the Reno kid takes down here. Oh, false start. They did a deal with the success factor that they took the four teams in that class that had the worst record and moved them down a class. And if a private school moved up on a success factor, then private schools can now move up more than one class. It was they could only move up once. Like a 3A school could only move up to 4A and they were capped. Now they can continue to move up except for the largest class in 6A. And so what that essentially did for us in football the next couple of years is Lincoln Christian, who's very tough in football, just won a state title. Yeah. Heritage Hall.
Who they beat.
They moved up into our class. Holland Hall, who's also predominant year in, year out, very good. And then due to enrollment, Ardmore moved in our class. Yeah. So we pick up those four, and we lose four teams that were, three of them were 0-10.
Bridge Creek is one of them. Right?
Yeah,
Bridge
they were
Creek
0
went back down to 3A.
The year before.
That should be near fall.
Picking up a count.
You need to keep that ankle trapped, and could have got 3 there.
Woodward, who was like 2 and 18 the last couple of years. I can't remember. The other one was one of the city schools, I think.
Did Medill go back down to 3A, or did they stay in the 4A?
Nah, I think Medill probably had too good a record. But anyway, you bring those four in, and 3 of them are private schools that have really good track records, and we lose the 4 worst teams. Our class just got super tough next year for the next 2 years in football.
Yes, definitely.
Bodie's getting a little tilt here. Shouldn't be able to pin him. This is
watch that kid's neck.
The old ball and chain where you have the arm and you reach through the crotch and you have the wrist trapped. He's up 8-0. He's content with major decision here.
Yeah, short time. So
it appears like he likes to be in the top position.
Yeah. Major decision's worth 4 points, so that'll take us to 24-0 Tuttle.
Next up's 138 pounds. We'll roll out senior Thomas London.
Next up, 138 pounds. For El Reno, Matthew Snyder.
What's his knee?
Matthew Snyder. Thomas kind of snapped him, and Snyder jumped into a
nice,
shot.
Nice recovery, though. Nice recovery.
That's one thing we're, you know, our guys have always been nice.
Nice blast double.
Blast double. Solid in all areas. And right there, that was a defensive scramble that we ended up on. And, you know, we've got a lot of defensive drills that are ingrained in our kids from, you know, 6th, 7th grade on.
And Thomas is one of the Tuttle wrestlers that comes from kind of the founding father of Tuttle wrestling, Mike London. I think he would be probably his last grandchild that would still be in wrestling, right?
Yes,
Yes, I believe that's correct. So.
Well,
no, you got
Louis.
Louis will be the last one coming through.
But yes, Mike started wrestling here many years ago, and his son, Mike's son Trent, 3-time state champion, and kind of put Tuttle on the map a long time ago for, you know, the first state champion here, which would have been 1989.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool to see generationals still competing here in wrestling for Tuttle.
Mike recently had a kidney transplant, which was a interesting, nice story.
Oh yeah, oh definitely.
Fellow wrestling family, Jamae Smith, which was Harley Andrews' mother, graciously donated her kidney. So,
yep.
And they're both doing good. I've talked to both of them recently and recovering well. And
yeah, I talked to Mike a little bit tonight, and I saw Jamae about a week ago. It looked like she was doing great. So you saw him this weekend out in Las Vegas, watching Harley, Luke, and Dustin all out there wrestling. So
yeah. I got last Thursday night, flew out to Vegas for the big Cliff Keen tournament. Oklahoma State was there, along with 15 out of the top 20 ranked Division I schools. So it was not short of talent, and it was a lot of great wrestling. It's the toughest tournament, like next to the national tournament. So early on, you got a really tough tournament in the nationals. There Thomas is with a good defense and go behind.
Working a half and a bar arm, just the standard stuff you learn when you're a little guy. If you get good at it, see how you pulled that back in? That's what you were kind of talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Bring that head back to your knee, kind of lift, and
bring it in, get the leverage, and then you run over the top of it. You know, I used to always tell the kids, hey, there's technique to everything.
No, Matthew Snyder, though, he's not just going to lay down. He actually scrambled good off his back and wasn't just going to lay there and get pinned. So
he's a little bit light for the weight. He weighed in at 135.1. So usually when you're several pounds under the weight, that means that's your actual natural weight.
Right.
Well, I say
probably
that,
can't beat the kid at 130, so he's staying at 138.
Yep. You know, anytime you got weight classes, there's, you know, it's even if you're naturally one day at the weight, 3 days later you might be several pounds over. So you just got to manage it.
Yep.
You know, there for a long time, wrestling had a bad rap, and it was because some of the mismanagement of making weight with diuretics.
Well, especially back when we were growing up. I mean,
there were no rules.
No.
All right, at the end of one.
9-2. Well, if Tuttle can somehow manage to blank El Reno out, that's probably not happened in a very long time.
Yeah, and it's kind of setting up that way.
It is, because
they've got 3 forfeits in the back half of the lineup, and we're pretty tough in the back half of the lineup.
We've got a couple of state champs and a couple of state runners up from last year that still haven't wrestled. So
looks like we'll round out the duel, the last 3 weights with seniors too. So
that's one thing with Tuttle wrestling. It's not a rebuilding year ever so far. It's just reload and the freshmen, sophomores come up, and they move into sophomores and juniors, and new freshmen come up, and they just keep rolling. It's credit to that youth program that's been so successful over the years.
Yeah, yep. Between the youth and a lot of work in the junior high, they know in 8th grade there's a ton of work. If they expect to start as a freshman, they got the ability and the capabilities to do it. There's a big emphasis put on, hey, you've got to put in the work 8th grade year because your freshman year will be here before you know it.
And we have had a lot of kids that, hey, went out for basketball and didn't get a jersey. Next thing you know, we're moving into the wrestling room and turned out to be a success. And we've had a lot of kids that came out for wrestling in the 7th grade and turned into be state champions.
So Cody Apston at 215, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
He didn't make the basketball team in the 7th grade, and I think the story goes something like, he cried about it and this and that, and found his way to the wrestling room, and last year was in the state finals as a junior, started in 7th grade, and so we'll see him shortly. Here's Thomas with another takedown to make the score 11-2.
That'll give him the major decision as long as he can keep this up. But we still have a whole nother period left, so hopefully we can get a tech fall or pin out of this one.
I would think at this point, being up 9, the goal has to be a tech fall or pin. Thomas hadn't really focused on trying to pin the guy yet, putting in work, so could very well end up being a turn and a takedown type deal and getting a tech fall.
Yep. Got that cross wrist or cross elbow trap, so see if he wants to do something with it in a short time here, so it's probably just going to fill it out a little more to go into the 3rd period. And I believe Thomas has choice going in the 3rd period, if I'm not mistaken. And he chooses down.
So if he gets escape here, that'll put him up by 10. He's going to need a couple more takedowns or a takedown and some near fall to get the technical fall, but that's got to be the goal.
Got to be the goal.
So always pushing yourself, always working. That's the standard.
Whoa, man, watch his arm. Man, that elbow almost looked like it got trapped back behind him. That's something you definitely don't want to see the night before a big tournament. He didn't slam him really hard. It was just a really awkward position. It's almost like he kind of lost control of him a little bit. But
yeah.
I thought he gave a point for the illegal slam, but
he
I don't
did.
see it on the
He did.
Okay.
It was 11-2, gave the point for illegal slam. This kid acts like he wants to kind of increase the tempo on top or be a little bit more tenacious there. So Thomas got to recognize that, and then you got to try to match it. There's a lot of times in a wrestling match where there's key times score-wise where you can separate it. There's also key times where you got to try to match your opponent's intensity.
And some kids got bigger gas tanks than other kids as well, too.
And the one thing that's hard to explain to somebody that's never wrestled is you can feel when somebody's spirit breaks or when they give in a little bit or when they don't match your intensity. And for whatever reason, it always seems to fuel the other person's fire to go even harder than them. So that's where we need Thomas to kind of match that here. We got to get back neutral. Thomas is much the best on top. Now, if you'll see, this kid's
that might be one of the scenarios where you were talking about. It might just not necessarily broke him, but it is what it is. We got 50 seconds left. I'm going to try not to get pinned, but I'm good.
Well, you can tell the El Reno guy, he was trying pretty hard there. He gets reversed, and now it's all of a sudden it's like, his energy level, quickness trying to get away. He put his head down on the mat for a second.
Even hanging out on the edge of the mat, walking back to to where hey, you're motivated, you're back up, you're moving along really quickly.
So we've got a long laundry list of things to quantify whether or not you wrestle hard in a match. And most people would think it'd just be the score, but for us it's more scoring attempts. Did you back off the mat? Did you finish a period on bottom? Did you give up after or not react after a reversal? All these things, and you preach it to them, and it becomes just part of their thinking. It becomes part of how they wrestle. And so I was always really in tune to those early in the year, kind of see if things like that we had to correct. Because one thing Tuttle prides itself on across the board and everything is giving best effort.
Oh, definitely.
And giving a winning effort. And that's something that I think all our coaches and in all our activities do a good job keeping a stronghold on. It's all about the effort you put in. And Thomas, let's get up, shake hands. Came up a little bit short of the technical fall.
Yeah. First year of the starting lineup, and got him a win here, first home duel. So.
What was that final score? 14 to
2.
Okay.
So another major decision.
Yeah, well, that's one thing we always look at too is how many points you scored third period. So we're not counting the slam only scored 2 points. So
right.
we want to increase that. Here's one of our really good wrestlers recently committed to wrestle at Oklahoma State, Bo Hickman. Takedown. Bo's wrestling at 144 pounds. Won state championship as a freshman, and that was a tough feat. He beat 2 seniors.
One returning state champ.
Yep, and so, when you do that, you've got something, and I think we all knew Bo's capabilities.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't happen. We've had plenty of 3-timers.
Right.
And what I've found is it's hardest. I think the hardest to win is usually your sophomore year. There's been few that lose that senior, but sometimes senior, just the pressure. It's this pressure that gets to seniors,
Right.
But
yeah, I would agree with you. I would say your freshman year, you might be small enough to where you're still competing against freshmen and sophomores. Sophomore year is kind of the year you kind of grow and you can move into a weight class where you got seniors that are, bigger, stronger, faster, and then junior year, you're
it's a
kind of
different
like
mindset as a sophomore. As a freshman, it's
Right.
kind of like, oh, well, I'd like to, but I'm a freshman, and
Right.
and sophomore is like, oh, okay, now I went as a freshman. Now I got a little bit of target on my back. People know me. And Bo's running the score up here 9-2, looking awful good on his feet. He's one area, in my opinion, that I think he needs to improve is just on his feet. He's really good, but he needs to kind of get a little bit more versatile on his attacks. He's sometimes in his toughest matches, and he's ranked nationally. And he wrestled the #1 kid in the country here back just a couple of months ago, and it went overtime. But Bo has a hard time sometimes picking up that key takedown in those big matches. He's super dynamic on top and good on bottom and really good on his feet. But, when you're splitting hairs trying to figure out where you got to get better, he's got to be able to go take somebody down. All the big matches are usually won by the guy who gets the key takedown.
Right.
Bo likes to go down 12-2. Little inside pivot stand up. One of Bo's key attributes, characteristics, is he's physically strong.
Yes.
He is.
He has that natural kind of farm boy strength.
Yeah. You see people that have the muscles, and sometimes, we've wrestled them. My son's wrestled them, and they're like, man, he looked like Hulk Hogan, but he wasn't that strong really well.
Right.
And Bo don't necessarily look that strong, no different than any of our other guys. But you grab a hold of him, and he is strong. And then I'd say probably one of the best attributes of Bo is he's tough. Just tough.
And he's
mentally.
a workhorse.
Yeah.
He's a kid still staying there late after practice, probably working on double legs, single legs.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Dustin Plott kid that,
Yeah.
Hey, if nothing's ever good enough, I got to keep working. I got to keep getting better, day in, day out.
Well, and some of your best guys, when you try to rank them and all those things, it's that competitive fire, the will to win, and the tenacity. There's so many adjectives that can describe them, and Bo's got a lot of those. So it'll be interesting as he continues to progress through his junior year, and being able to go wrestle for the most historic program at college at Oklahoma State. He's looking forward to that. He's got to continue to improve. So 13-2 here halfway through the match as we got a minute left in the second period. Like to see a little bit better clean offensive attacks. Bo's been kind of working this little head chuck. And This is one of their tougher weights, too. This Preston Scott kid
he's not bad at all. Yeah.
He was one that I had a star by that even though he was the state placer last year, he is for sure solid. However,
he was a state qualifier, though, I believe. Right?
He matched up with one of our best guys, and, you look at that score 13-2, and, that's not a slight on him. He's ran into a tough opponent.
Right.
But my point with that is, Bo hadn't looked as smooth on his feet here, but this kid's really solid, even though you look at the score and you think, okay, well.
Yeah, he's not easy to – he's not a practice partner. He came to compete tonight.
Hustling back to center. That's another thing we look at. Did you beat them back to center? A lot of those things can play psychological games on your opponent, too, and that's a big aspect of the one-on-one sports.
Yeah.
The X factor always in these things is the weight cut. Who managed their weight and who had to not eat today or dehydrated a little bit too much or had to do extra running to make weight. That wears you out.
Yep. And it kind of hurts your shape a little bit. He's definitely trying. Whoa.
That's a freestyle technique, the old arm spin. And that's takedown there for us because we got the leg in and we're over. And I couldn't tell. I thought the kid still had our arm possibly.
Looking for a spladle here. Oh. We kind of had a foot in bounds, too.
I do not know why the referee blew that out of bounds.
I don't either.
By rule, they were still in bounds.
Yeah, you just got to have one part of a supporting.
One supporting point each wrestler.
Yeah,
inside
the white circle.
Yeah, so now the referee does have the discretion to blow the whistle on the edge if there's,
especially
danger
to
go into a wall and stuff.
Yeah.
I think he just preemptively blew the whistle there. They were still in bounds. And we had a scoring maneuver locked up.
Oh, he had that spladle definitely locked up.
Yeah, that's a funky takedown. Was going to get some back points, near fall. So it's 15-2 with a minute left. You'd definitely like to see a tech fall here. The goal is always try to, for our tough guys in tough matches, to win by 8, get a major. But once you get in the double-digit range, it's to try to get to 15.
Right.
And so he's going to work hard here to try to get a turn. If he can get a turn, it'd make it 18-2 and
looks like he's going to go ahead and go for that cradle. It looked like it was there earlier. I think he has it locked up now. So. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Little bit fast.
Yep.
One thing we've been historically known for is our cradles. It's good to see those techniques are still being used. You get your head and your knee trapped by your opponent, it's hard to get out of.
Yes, definitely. Unless you're 10 or literal.
And he let guys cradle him so he could get out of
I know, that was the weirdest thing ever, but, man, he was good at it.
18-2, 16-point technical fall with 20 seconds left in the period.
That takes us to 33-0.
Next up is first-year starter Bo Tender. He's a senior. Found his way in the lineup at 150 pounds. And he's just a little bit small for the weight. But nonetheless, he will give you all he's got.
Yeah, he would probably be a 44-pounder if we didn't have Bo Hickman in front of him.
And did they say this is Hunter Myers or Trevor Robinson?
I did not hear.
And we give up a takedown there. Bo's needs to keep that hand so he don't get cradled here. I think the kid might have got a cradle. Well,
no, he's working his way out.
Now he needs to continue to try to pull that leg in and sit his right hip down to kind of anchor him in.
Yep. Kind of needs to get his head a little more on the inside of the leg, doesn't he? Instead of reaching around with that back arm, we've got to kind of get it back through his belly where he's getting back around the waist.
Possibly a stalemate here if there's no change and no improvement in position.
And the Reno's kid's knees kind of weirdly trapped up underneath him here. It'd be a good call to just stalemate this right here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, referees a lot of times will stop a match for potentially dangerous. I think Bo just needs to keep working this way and get both legs to this side. Now he needs to reach back and cross-facing.
Yes, go
reach
back.
back and cross-face hard with your right arm.
There he's trying.
Well, you got to keep
down.
your head elevated. We should be able to win this technique. Now hip back into him. Keep his foot hip back into him.
We didn't want to belly out like that, though. It's almost now you get your leg loose and build back up.
Got to get that elbow down.
Ooh,
down 2-0.
Kind of got saved by the bell maybe for a couple of near fall points there.
Yeah, he was in a jeopardized position there. Now we just got to hope.
Reno takes down, so we'll see if Bo can ride him on top here a little bit and hopefully get some near fall points.
So it's hard to give
a little high right out of the gate. Got to be careful here not to get your head sucked under.
Oh, illegal move.
Did he leg scissor?
I didn't see.
I didn't either. That's the only
must
thing I
have
could
been a
think
leg
of.
scissor. I didn't see anything different. Needs a slide back. Needs a settle back. You don't want to let the bottom guy get his arm in between your legs. So he needs to try to straighten his right leg and get him extended. Now the bottom guy's going to let go of that because it was.
Seems like he's just kind of riding a little high here. Not real comfortable with what he's doing, I guess.
Good return.
Yeah, nice little dump there. Catching the ankle, kind of setting him up for something here.
It'd be nice to lock up with some type of tilt and get us on the scoreboard here.
Yeah. Looks like he's working for
a chicken wing.
Yep.
Bottom guy's just kind of stalling there. When you see them lock their hands, they're just trying to defend.
Yep.
Trying to defend, not get off bottom. I'd like to see Bo try to secure a.
Well, that knee where it's at, I was fixing to say, go for that cross-face cradle there. You got him off a hip. You got a leg in there. If he tries to roll through, you can leg turkey him if he comes back. But
that cross arm up there under the armpit, high like that, there's not a lot of techniques you can do there. You're kind of limited.
Yeah.
And the guy from El Reno, he's just content kind of defending.
Yeah, we're still getting a little high.
Good way to kind of cartwheel over and follow there.
Got 5 seconds here, so. Well, so it'll be Bo's choice. We need to go down, get an escape, and get a takedown, and then see what happens from there.
This could be a really exciting period. Get the crowd involved here if we get escape and gives us opportunity to tie the match. So, again, some rules on bottom just in general that we used to preach is rule number 1, stay out of trouble. As a bottom man, you're in the defeated position, the inferior position, but stay on your base. Don't lay the leg in. Don't give up a wrist. Don't go to your belly.
Don't sit.
Don't sit. Keep moving. You got chain wrestle, means improve from one position to the next. And hand control, so he has hand control there. That's another thing. If he can keep that hand, that limits the top guy from being able to use that. Well, we let go of it.
Oh, we might have locked the game in cradle. No, we don't want to reach that head.
That's most of the time don't work out.
No,
now we got to find hand control. We've got to be able to get to our feet, Bo. The El Reno kid's content with just kind of riding and keeping us down. And we quickly lost a minute in the period, and the kid keeps going for the cradle. This gives us a chance once we're up on our feet. I don't know why he keeps reaching there.
I don't either. He's still doing it. Unless now if he catches that other leg, locks his hands up here, which we might have, Matt. We might have. Look at that. I guess that's why he was reaching for the head. Somebody taught him something in the wrestling room that isn't quite orthodox, but it definitely worked out pretty good for Bo Tender.
Yeah, that's exciting, but I would not recommend that. It's not high percentage.
No, it's not going to happen very often.
It's not going to work on most people tomorrow that you'll see at in the later rounds.
The Mid-American Nationals.
Yes. And that gentleman on top, that's nothing against him, but he got his head caught. But normally he's going to keep his leg in, and that's not going to work. Here's an interesting young man, Eli Prost, who's super strong, athletic, and he's going to be a full-time starter this year. Last year was in and out of the lineup some, and
he's reaching back too. That's kind of weird.
Super athletic and strong, and he's sneaky good. A lot of people don't know necessarily who he is, but he's got some good skill, and he's, like I already said earlier, strong. Hadn't been in the lineup. Last year was
looking for a leg cradle there.
In and out of the lineup
at
various times. And
yeah, he's a tough kid. I know his brother pretty well too, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Good kids. They're scrappers, definitely, though.
Oh, yeah. A little bit ornery,
Yep.
you know. And I say that in a good way. And
got a cradle locked up here. Like, get his head in the side and kind of pop that thing up.
He needs to adjust his lock, and if not, you just need to let go of it because it'll wear out your grip to no avail. And pick it up some more near fall. I don't know what he's trying to do
I
here.
don't either.
But
it's kind of awkward there.
He's kind of holding the kid just with that right and pinned him with.
I don't even know what you'd call
just
that.
Just position.
Yeah. I was just hoping he didn't touch his 2 feet together. That'd have been a head scissor.
He played a key role last year at the Hall of Fame duels in Stillwater in several matches, picking up some falls.
Yeah.
So Eli Prost with the fall. I believe El Reno's going to have a hard time getting on the scoreboard. It looked like at 150 pounds, Bo Tender was in trouble there with less than 30 seconds left. And
well, our 165-pounder looks like he's a little undersized as well.
Yeah, and this is Carter Keese, I think sophomore maybe. Tore his ACL last year, so didn't get to wrestle a whole lot. So Andy's inexperienced. I think he started wrestling in junior high. And
he came out like a scrapper, so he looks like he's ready to go.
I do know, just looking through our roster here, we are thin as far as depth in the middleweights and the 150 to 165-pound weight class. So I say depth, having multiple guys there.
Right. Got a little clubbing going on down there. I like to see that.
Yep. Earlier I mentioned Mike London and Jamae Smith. So Mike had been having some kidney issues and was on the transplant list for a long time and wasn't very successful because he was older, and that usually the older you are, the lower you're on the list, the priority list, I guess, according to him. And he reached over and got taken down. Got a bridge off your back, Carter. Keep fighting. Got to keep fighting.
Got to work that arm through.
Now he's going to try to get this other arm through. It's going to turn
he's
into
pretty tight right there. Oh.
Yeah, I think the referee called that a little quick.
Yeah, that was one of those, hey, it's been happening a lot the other way. Let me.
Yeah, I mean, they got hearts too,
Oh, yeah.
And, probably thought, well, this might be El Reno's chance.
Yeah.
But it's the rule is you got to have them down for two full seconds.
I'm kind of surprised to see Ethan out here tonight. I kind of thought he was still kind of banged up a little bit.
Yeah, he's been released for a while, and there's.
Is he going to wrestle this weekend? Or?
Yes. Yeah. And so.
So him and Sunshine will be entered both at 175.
Both
this
at
weekend?
75. Yes. And I think sometimes you just got to get thrown in the match. I know my son, when he came off of. Can't remember his labrum surgery. Actually, both. He had labrum surgery as a freshman there. Ethan is with a takedown, but.
And Ethan's another returning state champ that's also signed with Oklahoma State as well, right?
Committed. Yeah,
committed.
Can't sign to your senior year, but you can go on official trips as a junior. And him and Bo went up there multiple times and official, and then coaches came out and seen him. And, he's going to be another he's got the potential to be really good. and helped them out at the bigger weights. Ethan's had some injuries the last couple of years. It's hurt him in the summer wrestling. That puts him up 4-1. He's on the cusp of being nationally ranked, but he's beat some really good guys over the last several years, and so his name's still out there. And
well, and that wrestling, the freestyle in the summer helps that out a
yeah.
lot too. And like you said, his ribs were hurt his freshman year. I think it was his wrist last year, and then his shoulder.
Yeah, and then he had labrum surgery.
Yeah,
you know, we didn't get to go to Fargo, the big tournament in summer where a lot of coaches go to. So, but he's back healthy, and you know, this is a good way for him to get in shape. You know, he got a late start, but something about competition, just with your nerves and the excitement of it, and then, you know, you can't mimic the same intensity in the room, you know, as much as you want to. Right. It's you put the feel of the environment and your fans and the cheering, all those things equate to you getting match ready. And the same way early in the season in baseball, football, you know, all those things. You got to
go get somebody different.
Yeah. You know. So he rolls out to a 4-1 lead in control against Spencer Davison. So anyway, Jamae Smith went and got tested to see if she was a match.
Yeah, because they were the same blood type.
Unbeknownst to anybody, you know. Right. And I don't know, through a month or two of stuff, Jamae was a match, and then it still didn't. She didn't let anybody know and things like that. And great story, both being from the Tuttle wrestling family and being a match. And
it worked out really good. It's nice to know we'll get to see old Mike Lennon around quite a bit longer.
Yep. He was struggling there with the dialysis and all that, and he told me the other day he hadn't felt this good in years. So what a neat story, and you know, one human helping another.
Just a kind of wrestling community like that, you wouldn't hear that probably from a whole lot of other places.
Yep. Ethan with a reversal now. He's up 6-1. Kind of watch his knee there. It's kind of bent, but you know, so the college rules are just a little bit different. You score points now more. The 3-point takedown has really, I noticed at Vegas, opened up a lot of the scoring.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot more tech falls when I was watching.
Well, because you can take them down and let them up, and instead of being 2-1, where it's a 1-point net gain.
It goes to 6-3.
Take them down, let them up. Yeah. It's a 2-point net gain. So it takes a little bit of thinking in your mind, you know, because I know all the scores in high school and what we got to do to get a major, just because that's what helps you score team points. And you know, I was thinking out at Vegas, you go into the third period, if you're up 2, you just got to get 2 takedowns.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Takedown, cut, takedown, and that's 5 points, and the match is over. Where in high school, that's not the same. And so you start looking
something you said earlier about you can get 2 near fall, 3 near fall, and 4 near fall. I was not aware of the 3 near fall.
Yep.
I knew you could get 2 for 2. So 3, is it a 3 count?
Yeah, it's if you get 2 swipes, you get 2. 3 swipes is 3, and 4 is 4. So where in high school it's just 2 and then 3 based on
5.
A 2 count or a 5 count.
Right.
As they go out of bounds, Ethan's still in control with a tilt there. He's up 8-1.
You noticed how he still hustled back to the middle of the ring.
Yep.
Yep.
So the college rules, that's done by a separate organization, and the high school rules done by the National High School Federation. And there's what's called the SMAC, which is the Sports Medicine Advisory Committee, and they heavily influence what you can and can't do at the high school level, from in football, blocking below the waist, or returning to kickoffs. Well, the kickoffs out of the end zone, I think some of those things are different based on state. But anyway, the boundary rule we'd like to see, but at a lot of gyms in high school, and you don't have the trainers on site. Good pass by Ethan. Now he's going to look at open up the score here, up 10-1.
Yeah, that's going to give him a major. Right now he'll be up by 8.
So he's going to probably try to push himself a little bit when you start getting fatigued. That's the only way you get in shape, is you got to push through that pain, push through that threshold.
Yep. And being his first match back, you said released, about a week ago? So
he's been released longer than that, but it was kind of based on his own. Once he got released to do full stuff, it's, you know, you just can't go from 0 to 100.
Right,
so
right.
He's been working himself back into somewhat of match shape, and a little bit of a rolling start.
It's almost like our El Reno guys gassed out a little more than the kid that hadn't been wrestling very long. You know?
Nice setup. Kind of disappeared underneath him. You know when you do that your setup was good. He wasn't ready for it, and you kind of put him in position not to fill it. Little duck under throw him by. 2 points to go out of bounds. Up by 11.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's definitely going to work for the tech fall here.
Let's see here. You let him up. You know, it's a 10-point match, and so now you got to get a takedown, escape, takedown. You're only getting a point each time,
right,
except for the
2.
last one that you ride him out. And so his sense he's got to get 3 takedowns. And so oftentimes counted on. Sometimes in matches like this, we got to get a stall call. You know
because he is stalling now.
You know.
You can tell he's laying on the mat, got his head down. He's not even really trying to get away.
And there's ways that as an offensive wrestler you can help convince the referee that he's stalling, and we work on those things, you know. So sometimes you got to think, okay, we need a stall call, we need 2 takedowns, and
well, it was almost like here Ethan's letting him up, but the kid really don't want to get up, and then Ethan don't want to be patient and let him up. He's going to go ahead and try a cradle or something different, but another nice little duck under to a cradle, so that should do it right here.
And maybe picked up the fall.
Yes, he did.
Their wrestler kind of gave up there on the boundary.
I think he's gassing her.
Good job, Ethan. Way to work the whole period. You know, one of the I don't know. I'd probably say the greatest feat I was ever involved in was the year we won all 3 duels at the dual state tournament without losing a single match.
Yeah, I think that was that might have been Parrish's freshman year, I believe.
It was.
Yeah. Luke's sophomore year.
Junior year.
Yep.
You know, you're wrestling first round one of the top 8 teams in class, which we're the 1 seed, and it was Noah McDoulet. He's going to receive a forfeit. Second match, though, is the semis, and out of 14 matches, didn't lose a match, and nobody had a slip up, got headlocked or reverse laid or gave up a 5-point move. And then we wrestled Wagner, who was really, really solid.
Yeah.
And
he still did not give up a loss.
And got on a roll, and that just showed the desire. You know, I mean, sometimes that each kid collectively can, when they're behind something, and we didn't talk about it, it was just happening, and everybody could see it and feel it. That's how you are a part of something great sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
So here we go. Jay Swarn coming fresh off the football field from a couple of weeks ago. Like to see Cody Abston. He got down to weight. We can talk about that here in a minute. He got a forfeit there. And now we're at heavyweight. Jay Swarn wrestling Eric Parker. 250 versus 280 pounds. So Jason needs to be smart getting underneath him. At heavyweight, anything over 215 is heavyweight up to 285 pounds. So there's a big gap there. One of the rules by the SMAC Sports Medicine Advisory Committee is they never want any more than in the lower weight, or really in the weights, more than 12 to 14%, and you get to heavyweight, and you can have somebody that's
right. Because you can weigh in at 157, but you can still wrestle 170.
You can only bump one weight.
Okay.
But at heavyweight, you could actually be 191, which qualifies you for the 215-pound weight, and wrestle 285.
In the college wrestling now, the heavyweights have seemed they're a lot slimmer and a lot more athletic guys. You'll still come across some big athletic guys, but I'd say the average weight's probably, about 245, 250 now for heavyweight in college?
Yeah, the best guys right now are in that 240 to 245 range. It kind of cycles. You know, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, you had Cassiopeia, you had a big kid from Arizona, and there was another big kid from Lehigh. You know, they were all
pretty good.
Top in the country, and they were 270, 280 guys that could move. So Mason Paris last year was 255.
Very athletic heavyweight.
Yeah.
I think somebody had said he won the hurdles in high school.
He was running back, right?
Yeah, he's a running back on the football team, and then won the high hurdle, like the 400 high hurdles or something in high school. So,
and was big old boy, weighed 255 in college. So we're going to end with a 0-0 period, which is not atypical for heavyweight. Trying to decide who's going to go down here.
I'd like to see Jace get a good ride here.
He's known for this little technique called the Stottlemyre, where you kind of get a a chicken wing out and you trap it with the other arm, because big guys, it's hard to kind of get a bar on the far side.
We did a good job with a little spiral ride right there.
Yeah, nice
almost
little,
got him
almost
sucked
sucked back,
yeah.
but he's got the guy on his belly. This is a great time to keep your weight on him.
Definitely.
And now try to isolate a wrist and not let him build up. Don't let him build back to his base. So I guess we inadvertently were talking when Cody got announced, but Cody came out of football weighing approximately 240, 245 pounds, and he weighed in tonight at 214. Those people that are listening aren't, well, if they're probably not a wrestling fan, they might not be listening much, but what is that, about 30 pounds?
Yeah.
And, it just takes a lot of work, a lot of extra work day in, day out, running. And
well, that, and also you think, during football season, I bet you he's eating probably, a dozen eggs a day, all the protein you can get, protein shakes.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as football's over, you stop doing that, you're going to lose 15, 20 pounds in a couple of weeks, especially, the way you work out in the wrestling room and hot and sweating.
Yeah.
And I would say probably that last 10 pounds on him, he probably had to give a lot of effort to get it off.
It's been the last 2 or 3 days, I'd suspect.
Yeah.
You dehydrate a little bit.
But it's almost like once you get there, your body kind of gets used to it. As long as he makes it through Christmas and then comes back after the first year, he's still real close to that. I don't see him having any weight issues throughout the season. So. Be nice to see him get big again. Looking forward to hopefully seeing if he can play football at next level.
So we need to look for Jace to get a little bit more of an advantage in the
yeah, he needs
tie-ups.
to kind of work his underhooks a little bit.
Yeah.
And keep the kid backing up. And keep him backing up, maybe we can get a stall call here at some point too.
Because it does not appear that there's a chance that this kid would ever shoot.
No, I don't think so either.
Just based on his stature. Jace actually has a very good high crotch, but it's a deal where, you've got to get the confidence to shoot it. Right now, not being in wrestling shape.
2 weeks off the football field, maybe 3 weeks off the football field, is definitely not wrestling shape. There's a big difference between football shape and wrestling shape.
So here we want to look for a quick escape. We don't want to waste any time. We want to try to hold our ground off the whistle. Don't watch out. You're going to get – he could kind of Gazzoni back out here.
He could have.
But he's all right. Keep coming up. Keep that hand control. Keep that hand control. Now look to square up. Cut your right elbow through.
There we go.
Good.
So that ties it up. So now it's a takedown match.
Now one thing you'd like for him to maybe try to club the head underneath, pull his head under his chest.
Yeah, just to wear him out a little bit more than anything,
and,
right?
Potentially maybe pull him all the way down, snap him down to the mat. One thing that's going to add a little bit of time to the evening is working in the girls' matches. As the girls' wrestling grows, the idea is maybe either run 2 mats simultaneous, or you have to move your junior high up a little bit.
But it makes it really convenient for schools to be able to load up on one school bus, bring your junior high, your girls, and
there was
everybody up with you.
Tip
He had
and a
opportunity
shot
right there. Yeah, it's like he kind of halfway got in and decided he was going to back out.
Now he needs to just keep circling out. Yeah. Oh, and the El Reno guy let us off the hook. I don't know why he would have not held us.
No, I'm with you.
Tired us out a little bit more, made him carry our weight.
So we're down to almost 30 seconds here in the last period, or otherwise we're going to have some free wrestling for you tonight, our first overtime match.
Which is, again, not uncommon for heavyweight matches.
No.
Statistically, the highest percent weight where you got overtime.
Probably the highest percent one-point matches as well.
Probably ending 1-1 in regulation as well.
Yes.
But that's not the case at high school or in college. There's
no, there's a lot of.
Oh, nice single leg attempt.
Oh man! Gave up the takedown with 1 second left on the clock.
They don't have the review in high school, but no. I couldn't see the clock.
I think he was on his feet, but his hand was down. And I think in wrestling, if you're behind him and your hand's down, you're on your feet. It's 2.
Was he behind his near arm?
I think he was behind his near arm.
I was going off the buzzer.
It almost seemed like He called the 2 at the buzzer, but it almost seemed like he had the 2 a little early, and it was almost like Jace decided he got in there on that, and he wanted to back out. When he started backing out, that's when Eric Parker kind of went on behind him. I don't see him overturning this call, honestly. Coach Williams doesn't seem real happy with it, but hey, you know what? Maybe that'll fuel the fire for Jace for this weekend, and he'll try to finish that shot a little better next time, huh?
Yeah. All right. Well, what's the final score? 63 to
9. So appreciate you guys out there tuning in. We'll be back here next Tuesday for Edmond Memorial. So look forward to seeing you guys on here. And for Eric Terry and Matt Serber, we are out of here tonight.
All right. Thank you.